started reading yesterday on Facebook this section. I'm going to finish it now because I got cut off. So, where was it? Oh, yeah. Virgin Mary, Washington, D.C. Oh, we read it all. Okay. Okay, the next thing is weather modification. Perfect timing. Yesterday, the sky is completely beautiful today. Not one line in the sky. I'll show my Instagram people that yesterday, which started yesterday that way, early in the morning. And I deliver all day, so I see it all day. The sky is completely clear, and then all of a sudden all these planes go like that, and they go like that, and they make all these crisscross hatches, and then all of a sudden the clouds are all over the sky, and they're swirling, and they're dripping, which you know they're chemtrails when they're dripping. My stupid friends on Facebook who call it a conspiracy theory are just completely ignorant. Go on Wikipedia, go on any source you want, and look up atmospheric aerosol injection. It's real. It's a government program. They're trying to modify the weather. They've been doing it for many years. There's been bans in certain areas. There's been other people trying to fight it. But anyway, here it is. Weather modification is, on its most basic level, the act of intentionally manipulating or altering the weather. Historically, the most common form of weather modification has been cloud seeding, which can serve the purpose of increasing the water supply and results in rain or snow. On the flip side, the goal of weather modification could be prevention instead of production, preventing hurricanes or storms from happening. In 1905, when San Diego, hey, that's where I'm at, was suffering from drought, the merchants of Los Angeles approached the professional rainmaker and offered him $1,000 reward if he could make it rain 18 inches in 3 months in Southern California. The rainmaker took them up on the bet, and he concocted a secret mix of 23 chemicals in large evaporating tanks and built rain towers to bring on the downpour. It rained when the rainmaker said it would, and in fact, he did such a good job that he caused flash floods and millions of dollars of damage. Around that time, folks, this was in 1905 in San Diego, folks who claimed they could influence weather were generally regarded as quacks, reserved only as a circus sideshow. But somewhere along the way, someone identified weather modification as something more than entertainment, more than a good headline. Officially, cloud seeding, as we know it, was thought to have originated in 1946 when Vincent Schaefer was experimenting with dry ice and noticed that cloud condensation nuclei, the tiny particles around which water condensates, could be artificially produced to create precipitation. Schaefer put his discovery to the test by seeding the clouds over the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts, making it rain. Eventually, it was discovered that weather could be used as a weapon against the enemy, which prompted Operation Popeye. Go look that up on Wikipedia. Operation Popeye was a highly classified weather modification program that took place between 1967 and 1972 and involved a cloud seeding operation during the Vietnam War with the goal of extending Vietnam monsoon season. Basically, through cloud seeding, Operation Popeye induced and prolonged the rainy season, which was said to have played in the United States' favor during the war. Pilots would fly over Vietnam toward an active storm cell, toting a canister of silver or lead iodine, which were at the time considered the two primary sources of water condensation nuclei, or to simply put it, the two chemicals you need to cloud seed and make it rain. Once they were in or near the storm cell, the plane crew would ignite these canisters of chemicals and release them into the storm. And once a super scientific KitchenAid mixer action happened, these chemicals would prolong the storm when they mixed with the already present precipitation up in the clouds. So right before we had that storm in San Diego where everyone worried about, everyone shut down, everyone went home for work because they had emergency things on our phone. That day, the morning of that day, they started cloud seeding. I saw the planes tic-tac-toeing the whole sky, which brought in a bunch of clouds. So they helped make it worse, but it didn't turn out that bad anyway, so it was okay. But to think that's not happening is just complete stupidity. And people want to bury their head in the sand because they get this word conspiracy theory, which is, there's no theory about it. It's an actual fact. They're cloud seeding. They're doing it all over the planet. I've seen it in Japan. I've seen it in Italy. I've seen it all over California, everywhere I've been. When I drove to New Mexico, I didn't see it on the way there and back a couple times. But does it mean they're not doing it there as well? Because I've seen pictures of people who post their pictures of when they do it there. What's weird is, What's weird is this practice was completely kept secret from the public. The Nixon administration denied Operation Popeye and lied to Congress. Oh, governments do lie all the time. That's why I didn't believe one word they said during the COVID, because I knew they lied about everything prior to the COVID. Why would they all of a sudden come to Jesus moment? Nope, they didn't. They lied about everything. Safe and effective, never been safe and effective. But somehow journalists got a hold of the details and published stories about rain being used as a weapon. Maybe that was back when mainstream journalism was actually a respectable career path. Either way, Operation Popeye was highly classified, even though taxpayer money was thrown at these efforts to the tune of $3.6 million a year, which would amount to $20 million a year in today's money. And even though Operation Popeye has since been declassified, its success as a weapon of war has been downplayed, with its effectiveness being dubbed unverifiable. That's in quotes, of course, because it's not unverifiable. That's what they say when they don't want you to know what the facts are. Oh, it's unverifiable. It's unverifiable that they don't stop the spread. Oh, because they don't stop the spread, you motherfucker. Okay, for something whose effectiveness was dubbed unverifiable, in quotes, of course, there certainly was a lot of fallout for using weather warfare for hostile purposes. In 1978, a new treaty went into effect under the Environmental Modification Convention, quote, prohibiting the military or other hostile use of environmental modification techniques as they were found to be widespread, long-lasting, and severe effects, end quote. Basically, this convention banned weather warfare like what we saw in Vietnam, but it didn't ban the actual practice of playing God and manipulating the weather for other purposes. So they did all the chemtrails yesterday, and last night they all started drifting off, and they went probably to Mexico. So maybe they're seeding them here, and they're sending them to Mexico, because that's where they all went. I saw them all going out to sea last night. As you're reading this, someone somewhere is probably seeding a cloud. However, the practice of geoengineering has fallen under heavy criticism in recent years, with the argument being that it's not really about helping the environment, it's about control. Control of people and control of money. Because if you control the weather, guess what? You control the food supply. If you can cause flood or drought, you can create feast or famine. It could be detrimental if this technology fell into the wrong hands, which it already is, the deep state. That's why it's in the Deep State Encyclopedia by Really Graceful, and you should go watch her YouTube channel where she documents it thoroughly. There's growing concern over the chemicals being sprayed into the clouds and their long-lasting effects on the human body, animal, and the earth as those chemicals get absorbed into the ground, our drinking water, and our skin. Finally, what are the ramifications for playing God? What happens when you mess with nature in this way? How does this practice affect our overall climate? And does it destabilize our weather system? Of course it does. And when climate change is such a hot topic, why does the government use the weather manipulation why does the government's use of weather manipulation never seem to make it into the conversation? Instead, the goal of Agenda 21 and 2030 are implemented across the populace to fight climate change, and these solutions manifest as population control, living in pods, eating bugs, eliminating the private property, and everyone living in small cities. But no, they never mention how much governments and private corporations mess with the weather. Really, the climate change pushers beg for one thing: more government intervention. How much power does your government need over you? And can they use weather to punish you if they don't obey? If you don't obey, sorry. I suppose in a nightmare hellscape, they could send a hurricane your way if your particular state or territory falls out of line. But the thing is, very few around you would believe the government was capable of that. It's because most people around you are stupid, like my Facebook friends who think this is a conspiracy theory. It's not. That their benevolent government would actually have the technology or incentive. What's strange is to know all of this and then watch the news do a piece on cloud seeding like it's some kind of new phenomena in technology. But really, there are hundreds of U.S. patents concerning weather modification and cloud seeding dating back to the early 1900s. Out west, where water is a major commodity, cloud seeding is commonplace and even a way for ski resorts to bolster business, creating more snowfall. There are stories of mining companies in Australia using cloud seeding to prevent rainfall in key locations, but by benefiting themselves, they put the larger region at the detriment, drying out rivers, which kill off native animals, cause dust issues, and could even be a contributing factor to those devastating bushfires we heard so much about a few years ago. China is very upfront about their manipulation of the weather. For the 2008 Beijing Olympics, they claim to have used cloud seeding technology to ensure that the event would be rain-free. Back in 2018, China announced it was launching the world's largest weather control machine, with the ability to modify the weather in an area similar to the size of Alaska, with the stated goal of increasing rainfall along the Tibetan Plateau to meet the water demands of their population. While China is upfront about their weather meddling, more than 50 other countries discreetly use the practice of cloud seeding on the regular. She has like 20 different footnotes here of different websites you can look at. The next section is Waco, Texas. What are we at? Okay, I have 4 more minutes. Waco. Much like the innocent at Ruby Ridge, law enforcement agents overstepped their power to inflict death and tyranny on a targeted group, then propagated a smear campaign in the wake to make themselves look just. The Waco incident refers to a standoff between federal law enforcement authorities and the Branch Davidian religious sect in Waco, Texas in 1993. The incident started on February 28, 1993. So this was after I turned about 22. Okay, we gotta go. That's our time. Okay, peace out, kids.